Welcome to another edition of Carnivore Bites. I'm your host, Jeff Sherman, along with Dr. Eric Lopkin. And really, just several days outside from the election, it seems like that's the topic, Dr. Lopkin.
That's pretty much it. I mean, it's all about the election. And right now, Biden is flooding the airwaves with ads. It's a little aggravating because there are at least a couple of ads that I've seen that are complete lies. And the mainstream media is not calling him on it. They're not challenging him. If Trump had tried to pull this, they'd be all over it.
Well, that's par for the course. I think even the controversy with Hunter, the whole pay for play, whatever you want to call it, that got no traction either, did it?
Very little. It got very little traction. And, it's funny. I've been talking to a lot of people, and I am horrified at the amount of ignorance that's out there, not just about what the candidates plan on doing, who they are, regardless of who you're voting for. There is a huge amount of ignorance on how the system works. And the big issue, because Biden has been banging this, and certainly they're using this to bring out women for Biden, is the possibility of Roe v. Wade being overturned in the Supreme Court. Because remember, the latest justice was just confirmed, so now conservatives have a 6-3 majority in the Supreme Court.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all yelling, if Roe v. Wade is overturned, they actually think that overturning Roe v. Wade makes abortion illegal. And it doesn't.
No, it just pushes it back to the states.
Right. It just says the states have to make the laws, not the federal government. And let's face it, off the top of my head, New York, New Jersey, California, Oregon, Washington, Illinois, all of New England, none of these states are ever going to let abortion be illegal. And that's just off the top of my head. There's a bunch of states that probably won't do it that I don't know about, that I don't know for sure.
No, I would agree with that. I think one thing that really concerns me, I guess, overall about the election, and it's not really as partisan as you think. There's a good likelihood, at least a 50-50 shot, depending upon, what poll you're looking at, that Biden, who's, I don't know if he's really got all his faculties, has a good chance of being president of the United States. And it's scary. To me, it's scary. It's really scary. It's not funny. It's like scary.
No, it's very scary because Nancy Pelosi has already brought up using the 25th Amendment to remove the president. And conventional wisdom says she wasn't referring to Trump. She was referring to Biden, which means all of this has been an elaborate ploy to get Kamala Harris into the White House, despite the fact that in the primary, voters clearly said they don't want her.
Yeah, it's really scary when you look at this, Dr. Lopkin, in terms of what are the political and social repercussions of the Trojan horse scenario. It's very scary, and I guess we'll conclude with what would you give? What do you handicap it now? You think it's too close to call?
I honestly think it's too close to call. I would give Trump a slight edge, but we're talking 50.1 to 49.9. So
I probably would agree with that.
This can go either way, and the one thing that I take comfort in is that everybody's been making a big deal about this conservative majority on the Supreme Court. While I honestly don't believe even a 6-3 majority is going to overturn Roe v. Wade, I believe Roe v. Wade is safe. I do think Kamala Harris has already said that if she's president, there's a bunch of executive orders that she would do. The Supreme Court will knock them down because they're all unconstitutional.
Well, we'll see how it plays out. And I guess next time Carnivore Bites, it'll be post-election, won't it?
It will, and hopefully we'll actually have a winner by then. There's because of all of the absentee ballots, there's a possibility that for our next podcast, even though it's post-election, we might not know who won yet.
So everyone stay tuned. Thank you, Dr. Lopkin.
See you then.
You've been listening to Carnivore Bites, part of the Exvadio Podcast Network. You can catch us every week on carnivoreradio.com, exvadio.com/podcasts, the Apple Podcast Store, Google Play, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and wherever you find podcasts.